Hello and welcome to our newest edition of Beyond the Politics, a regular examination of the events happening right here in the Quinte region and the people who work so hard behind the scenes to make it all happen. I'm your host, Paul Martin. Joining me are two newest members of Belleville City Council from Ward 1, Lisa Ann Chatten and Barb Enright-Miller. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's get right into it. So, first of all, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you
Thanks
very
again.
much.
Yes.
So let's talk about the campaign. Before we go into what the campaign was, let's talk about what it is. We all have the experience of running for election in Belleville. Only two of us had the experience of actually winning. I would like to know what that feels like. So before we go any further, what was it like on the night in question to win? Barb, let's start with you.
I thought actually I was going to have a heart attack. You know, with these smart watches, the heart rate was, I said to my husband, it's 125 beats a minute. I think I'm done. But no, it was fabulous, actually. I think it's a one in a lifetime kind of moment that happens in one's life, maybe two or three times, but it was great. It was lovely to hear the name.
How early did you know? Because as thinking back on the night's results, Lisa, you finished 5th, Barb, you're 6th of the 6 seats. So did you know early on? I mean, all the results basically came in at once. Did you have a good feel for it right away, or did you want to take a longer look at it?
I don't think we're ever prepared, you know, because we all work so hard. Everybody worked hard in their campaign. And this new way of voting, though, it was pretty instantaneous. As they read out the names, it was like, and I heard Lisa's, and I thought, okay, one shot, and there I was. So it was great, yeah.
So Lisa, what was it like for you that night?
Well, we had our campaign team at Linguini's. That was where we decided to have dinner and try to settle some of the nerves because, you know, the waiting throughout the day is I'm glad I had a job that I was able to really concentrate on other things for the rest of the day, because once I didn't have something to do, it was quite nerve-wracking. And so we were all eating dinner, and we had a couple of phones that were tuned into the news outlets, and one of my friends, Peter Matwiak, he was at the end of the table, and before they were able to even finish talking about, I think it was Prince Edward County and the people that were running, not any election results that had come up yet in any of the news outlets. And it was already up on the website, on the city website. And so he had that up on his phone, and he went, "Oh my gosh, Lisa Ann, oh my gosh." And he brought it over and he said, "Am I reading that right?" And, you know, he's looking, and like I'm shaking, and my husband's beside me and he's shaking. And other people that are over on this side, they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's already up. Like, are those official results?" We couldn't even believe it because we still hadn't heard it through the news outlet. And so, yeah, it was definitely one of those moments where it was almost a disbelief. We had worked so hard, and I was very committed, but at the same time, so was every single person that put their name forward in this campaign. So I wasn't really expecting to see my name, quite frankly. And so when I did, I was just, if my heart could have burst out of my chest, it would have. So that was my experience.
Very different from the last election. Of course, you won in the race for school board 4 years ago, but they had paper ballots and it took a lot longer. So did you appreciate that it was a lot faster this time?
It was a little bit of shock, honestly, because this was like within 10, 15 minutes that we knew that I was in. The last election, I think all of the results rolled in. It was about 9:30, closer to 10 o'clock when we knew for sure that I was in for a trustee. So yeah, I have to say I liked the ripping of the Band-Aid off a little bit better than having to wait, but it gave you a little bit of time and appreciation for the work that you'd put into it. It gave you time to reflect as those numbers had rolled in. So I don't know which one I really like better. For instant gratification, though, knowing that you're in right away was good.
Before we go any further, and to make sure, because now you're going to be councillors for the next 4 years, we want to make sure we get your names right and the way you like to be addressed correctly. There's been a history in Belleville of occasionally getting that wrong. So first of all, do you prefer Barb or Barbara?
Barb is fine.
Barb is fine.
Yes.
And it's Enright-Miller.
Enright-Miller,
okay.
Yes.
And Lisa, do you prefer Lisa or Lisa Ann?
Lisa Ann, honestly. Okay. That's how most people have addressed me for the last 10, 12 years, and it's easier. And there's an awful lot of Lisas in Belleville, so it does help delineate a little bit.
There you go. So let's go taking yourself further back than that. First of all, when did you decide to run, and what was your motivation for getting involved in Belleville City Council? Barbara, let's start with you.
When did I decide? I've been actually thinking about it for many years. My brother was a city councillor for a term. My dad was on planning committee way back when. So it's kind of always been in our wheelhouse. And what I do in my day job is very similar, in a smaller scale, of course, to that of a council. And I thought, well, I've 31 years at this, maybe I've learned something, maybe I can help.
Now, setting that aside, you run a campaign, you want to represent Belleville, now you do. Mm-hmm. So sell me on Belleville. What do you think is great about the city of Belleville, and what makes you proud to be a councillor in the city of Belleville?
Everything about Belleville is great. The people, what we have to offer as far as a community, our waterfront, the amenities that we have, but primarily the people. I think we're well named as the friendly city. I deal with a lot of people, as does Lisa Ann, and we know a lot of people that come to the city. We just have to make it a little more robust to make people want to come and play and live and work here and stay here. But I think really it's the people of Belleville that make it so wonderful.
Lisa Ann, sell me on Belleville.
Well, I can echo every syllable of what Barb just said, because quite frankly, I think we have an incredible amount of opportunity here, especially with retention and recruitment of medical professionals. That's something that we've got our eyes on, right? And I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth. So also, friendly city, we're already in a position where people feel good coming here. We have an international student program with Loyalist College that is absolutely bursting, and I love the diversity that we're seeing in our city. So for me, all those things that you had mentioned, our waterfront, the Bayshore Trail, the friendly people walking down the street, being able to smile at somebody, probably know them, going shopping. Exactly. It's hard to go and do a task without seeing somebody that you know and say, hey, how is your husband, kids, wife, whatever the case may be. It's just a beautiful place to live.
Okay, turn it around. What needs fixing? When you come in, what are the kinds of things that you think really need to be addressed in the next 4 years?
My platform. That goes back to homelessness issues, our housing precariousness that we're looking at. It bothers me that my stepson, with his small family of 3 children and his girlfriend, they cannot and probably will not be able in this economy to purchase their own home. And that's not right. Not when you're paying, upwards of $2,500 a month in rent on a consistent basis to house, your small family. You should be able somehow to apply for a mortgage and be able to carry less than that for your mortgage payment. I just think that really does need to be addressed, not just for my own family, obviously, for the community at large. There are a lot of people that are facing a housing issue. For whatever reasons, we do need to find solutions. I also think that retention piece that I was talking about with our medical professionals and the retainment and recruitment of medical professionals coming to the city. But we also need to have the structures available for their families to come. We need to have the school space. We need to have the housing. Everything is kind of interconnected, and we need to have a safe community. So we do have work to do. Petty theft is on the rise. We have some gun violence that has erupted around the city, more so this year than in previous years. This is a problem. We are getting some big city problems in our little city, and we need to correct them. We need to do it fast, and we need to do it efficiently.
Barb, what needs fixing about the friendly city?
I agree with everything you said. Everybody should have a place to live. Everybody should have a roof over their head. Our homeless, it's touched me in my day job. And we see it. That was one of our, I think everybody shared that platform when we all ran. And, there's got to be a fix. We have to look at other municipalities, other cities to see what their fix is, to see how they're making it work. We need retention, we need doctors, we need more building, and we need people to be able to afford homes. I'm in the rental business as well, and I see what people are paying in rents. You should be paying towards a mortgage, and it's upside down. And there's got to be a fix out there somewhere to make it right again. We need to get everything back on a level playing field. People need to be able to afford homes and live and prosper here. We need doctors to come in, just as you said. I mean, I'm regurgitating basically what you said, but this, I mean, we do
aligned
have
values.
Yeah, and we do have some big city problems, you know, and we hear the police talking every once in a while. It's amazing how many calls they have and what type of calls we're getting. Like the public at large may not ever hear that, you know, because we feel really safe in Belleville. We can still kind of wander around and, you know, drive around at night and nothing ever happens, but there's things happening, you know, and I think we're just fortunate they're not happening to us. But, you know, it's a big cog, and every little cog in this big wheel that we're trying to maintain and keep rolling. But yeah, there's some fixes to be had, and I think we have a group that can really chip away at these fixes. I really do. I think we have a good team at the table.
We have a good group that isn't afraid of tackling things, which is a big, you know, part of it, but also looks at it as opportunity. So I think that's really important.
Talking about the police. So that was a relationship between you and other council members. We talked about staff. What about the agencies that work, specifically police and fire? I mean, these are the people who keep us safe every single day. Lisa, and I know you're very passionate about this. How much time do you feel new councillors and the council as a whole should be focusing on those people right now?
I think it deserves an enormous amount of focus. We had an incredible delegation that came to us from our fire chief at our Monday event, or Monday orientation rather, and it was staggering to find out how much was needed, just in terms of cost and why there was cost involved for gear that ages out, because in order to keep these people that are keeping us safe, we need to keep them safe. Those costs were astronomical. I had no idea that it was that much to ensure that the fleet was appropriate for the space that they serve. So I think that we do need to focus quite heavily on our emergency response services.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. So as a final question, what message would you like to get out to the community on your behalf right now? If there was one thing you wanted to say to the people who elected you and that we look to you for the next 4 years, what would that be? Barb?
I would just have to say I'm humbled to be given this opportunity to sit in one of the seats at council around the horseshoe. It's a great honor. And I appreciate people putting their trust in me, and I hope to make a difference with the group that we have. And thank you. That's all I can say.
Lisa Ann?
Same. Just because I know we've got like 5 seconds left. Exactly the same. I am humbled, I'm grateful, and I will do my absolute best in this seat.
Brevity, a rare gift for new councillors. This has been a very special edition of Beyond the Politics.